Some of these are names from Dune. Duncan, Idaho. Beetlebum Beaselgark. Abalurd Harkonnen. Princess Wincisia. Dartenblart Folger. Thufir Howat. Uman Kudu. Rarkat Telblog Zanine. Master Tilwifwaf. Paul. Which ones were real? We watched Dune and Dune.
The French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Big Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is...
Heyo, schmoes. Welcome back to the Potty Pod. Yeah, I'm the one who gets to introduce it, and I pick what we say. So, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Citizen Kane versus
The Potty Pod.
the Potty Pod, the hottiest, pottiest pod.
The potty with a body.
Potty with a body. I like that.
Yeah. Check out our Insta to maybe one day see another installation of Podbod.
Yeah.
It was a pretty funny hashtag for like a couple of weeks, and it'll come back. I have a bunch of photos of Dan that I'm going to upload.
Yeah, where'd those ever go? I took so many photos.
I have them. They're on the drive, and I'm just going to make that the whole third row of the Instagram to catch
Great,
it up.
great.
That's
Thirst trap.
the
I
people
think, is
need to
what the kids
see.
call it.
I'm gonna do hashtag fucking men of Instagram hashtag. Like I'm gonna. Oh yeah, we're gonna thirst trap the internet real hard.
I can't wait to see what the hashtag men of Instagram pulls up.
Well, that we're gonna.
A lot of buttholes.
That's the demo. Okay. So welcome back to this again mostly butthole focused podcast.
I
If you-
wish.
I know, right? If you're not familiar, in a nutshell, this is a podcast where we take two movies, one of which being more of a classic, one of which being more of a schlocky film, linked by just kind of whatever we want. But something, and then we decide which one is better. My name is Jack Rennie, and I'm joined by my two friends, one
Sean Jacklin.
and the other.
Daniel Benoit.
Yeah, the automated voice of Daniel Benoit. What a character!
Yeah.
what a gas, that automated voice.
Directed by David Lynch.
And the movies that we, for better or for worse, chose for this episode was I guess this is actually funny. So the classic is
It's brand new.
is the one that's in theaters
Been out
currently.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess that's the classic this week, and the schlock is the old classic one, which is the old David Lynch Dune.
Yeah.
Dune v Dune,
Yeah.
Battle of the Dunes.
Yeah,
of the Dunes.
but I mean, arguably, this movie is destined to be a classic. The new one,
Yeah.
for sure.
It is the Dune that Dune fans have been asking for since Dune came out.
I mean, I didn't even know what Dune was, and it's the Dune that I was asking
So
for.
today just killed you, right?
so much Dune, so much fucking Dune.
Yeah, I want to preface by saying I don't fully recommend watching
No.
both Dune movies in the same day, like we just did. It's
Unless you love it.
even if you love it. No, I'm discouraging this.
I had a good
behavior.
day.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean is the Dune fan.
I think I also have to add that, excuse me, if you're gonna watch the classic Dune, you kind of have to watch the new Dune first. If I hadn't seen movie like new Dune before old Dune, I wouldn't have any fucking idea what was going on in that movie for the first hour and a half.
Absolutely. Like that really helped because watching old Dune was just like if you didn't know anything, it would just be nonsense.
Yeah, that movie was clearly made for people who are intimately familiar with the source material.
Yeah.
And already have a deep understanding of the story. Because otherwise you're fucked.
All like 700-800 people that know it. How popular is Dune?
It is thought to be the most, I guess this is fun fact number one.
Oh, shit.
Dune is thought to be the best-selling science fiction novel ever.
Really?
Correct, yeah.
This is the first one, or
The first
the
book,
collection of 47 books. That have been written?
No, just the first book. Dune.
Written by his extended family.
Yeah.
And like his dog
His dog wrote one. I think the
Also-
cat wrote one.
barked out some Morse code
Yeah.
for an additional like short one. So it's hugely popular, but is it still popular now, or is it like
It's had quite a resurgence just in lead up to this film.
Right.
I know that like I hadn't read it. I just knew about it because my dad was a sci-fi fan. But knowing that the film was coming out this year, last year, kind of at the start of the pandemic when there was nothing else to do, I started blitzing through the Dune books.
oh, so this is really recent for you
Yeah.
in terms of okay.
Oh, you just read them?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, I read the first one like a year and a half ago, and then as soon as I could get them from the library, I read the up until like 3 hours into God Emperor of Dune, which is madness, and no one should go that far.
So then was it frustrating, or did it kind of ruin the movie for you because you knew where it was going? I guess not. It's the same could be said for any movie based on a book, right?
Yeah.
I was more excited because I was looking forward to how they were going to represent things that I already had a very like close idea of, and yeah.
Well, yeah, I have a lot because you're the only person who is familiar with the source material.
Yeah.
I'm going to be just drilling you with questions
Sure.
for most of this episode.
I'll do fun fact number 2, which
Okay.
is I think the funnest fact.
Ooh.
Frank Herbert came up with and wrote the first Dune book while he was working for, I think, the Department of Agriculture in Oregon. He was living on the sand dunes in Oregon and just tripping balls on mushrooms every day.
Yeah, that
tracks.
sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Because this movie reads like a peyote trip.
Yeah, there's a lot of all the like hallucinations and fever dreams and stuff are just like him writing down shit he experienced while he was tripping.
That's
Yeah,
so funny.
and there's like a powder that's magic.
Yeah.
and the powder is what the Emperor of Space wants. And the worms have a connection to it, maybe, and Jesus is back.
Yeah, correct.
That's also my summary of Dune.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't, even, I don't have to
day.
do mine this week. We have it there.
No, yours are happening still too.
Okay, good.
So that is a fun fact. Is that why there's a character named like Count Idaho in it?
Duncan, Idaho.
Duncan.
The idea with the names is that humanity on Earth reached a point where there was no like races weren't really a thing. We'd intermixed so much that like we were just the human race, and then we went out into the stars and settled other planets. But like famous names from Earth were used.
Right.
So
Idaho.
everybody in the movie is supposed to be human.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, but some people refer to each other as human as though they're not human.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a pejorative, like because they've
It's
evolved.
like, so it's like buddy.
Yeah, like you're still an Earth guy, right? Do
Oh, I see.
What about the Fremen? We'll get into it. Let's.
you want to do your intros?
No, what? Which intros? Those
His intros.
Let's you know what? Let's do a little send up for sweet Danny Boy's sweet intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Citizen Kane vs. is proud to bring to you tonight's main event, a 5-round smackdown for the spice. In both corners, two men plagued with disturbing visions of the future are burdened with dukeship and the destiny to become a godlike warlord with vocal fry after a sneak attack orchestrated by the Emperor of the Universe decimates their people and forces them to join forces with a tribe of dangerous desert nomads. Coming in at 137 and 165 minutes respectively, starring Kevin McDonald, Patrick Stewart, and every hot person in Hollywood right now, Dune!
Wow. Fuck.
Oh.
Amazing.
Oh my god!
Dan, what you did this week,
Have you
wow.
been into the spice?
Have you been hitting the spice, buddy?
I can smell the spice. He who controls it. I control the world and the spice.
You know what? We're filming this or recording this the day after Halloween, and I'm requesting now, in honor of this movie, that next year I would like us to go out somewhere. We should find something to go to.
Yeah.
Now that the world is back, we should make efforts to go outside
Oh
more.
please, God, yes.
Can we go as the Spice Girls?
Oh, sure, but
Or
we're
sorry.
the women of Dune.
Or sorry, the Powerpuff.
that's funny.
Or the Powerpuff Girls. Sorry.
I like the Spice Girls, but we go as we go as Lady Jessica and Chani and
I want to be
Princess
Aaliyah. I want to be
Irulan.
the little kid who is like
Aaliyah. Yeah,
Aaliyah.
yeah. You be Aaliyah.
I want to be the mother.
You're Princess Jessica.
No. I want to be the one who was the truth sayer to the emperor.
Oh, Mother Gaius Mahayam or something.
nerd.
Yeah. Is she Jewish? Mother Gaius Mahayam?
She's human.
Guys,
That's fucking human.
they're past that now. Although they all reference God a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Like, is it really going to last? Is religion going to make it all the way to the year 10,000?
100%.
I mean, a million percent
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
unfortunately. It's going to only get stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Should we just
I'm
get-
seeing a sign. Yeah, let's jump in. Let's do it. Let's jump in. So let's just start talking about all this stuff in our first round, which is going to be very similar for both movies. Story, good?
Right. So Dune, I thought, was good, but Dune had some problems.
I thought Dune had a overly complex story, whereas Dune had a less complex story.
Yeah, I found Dune to be more or less pretty straightforward, but Dune was a little over my head.
I take offense with what you say about Dune, because I think Dune actually pulled its weight.
What? Are you kidding? Dune does not stand a chance against Dune.
I'm voting for Dune. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, my vote's in for Dune.
Yeah.
So I think that religion is going to last.
That was very silly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So,
But 1,000,000% religion's going to go forever. As long as humanity's around, I think a version of Christianity is going to survive.
I just put like the same one.
Maybe not, but I think... I don't know if the idea of God and...
It's not a Christian God
Yeah,
that they're
but-
all
yeah.
getting off to.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is just a supreme
Deity.
guiding force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once humanity escapes the bounds of this solar system, we're not going to be tied down to earth religions.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. There's always going to be people who can find a way to justify it, I think.
I don't know how far the word of Christ goes, Does it pass the rings of Saturn?
Hey, man, if people can believe in it now, knowing what we know about the solar system, they will believe it once we're exploring it.
Yeah.
I just feel like something about space travel will cause the end of religion. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
We've done space. We have rovers on Mars.
we
We
have
have
not done space enough to kill religion.
Well,
yet.
see, that's-
it's really messed up. Like the churches had to pivot real hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That is a key theme that at least they've set up in the Villeneuve film and really did not touch in the Lynch film at all, and it's really horrifying that they clearly didn't understand the subject material
In the Lynch one.
in the Lynch one,
Which was what?
Which is that it is talking about how civilizations find idols of power to invest their futures in, and it's,
Right.
and how the individual uses that power. Like Paul in the he realizes he's a horrible monster by the end of the first book. By the end of the Lynch film,
Right.
he's supposed to have realized that oh shit, he's unleashed this unstoppable killing force on the universe. Being himself and the Fremen who are deadly warriors that he's given this power to just be unstoppable, right?
Oh yeah, that did not come across at all
At
in
all,
the Lynch film.
at all, and
No.
it's supposed to be a deep look at what kind of you have to cease being human in order to lead a space conquering nation, right?
Yeah, this idea of a messiah and extremism, and being so devout,
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
So Herbert really questions that in the books, but the Lynch film comes off as this heroic, epic quest of a man fulfilling his destiny and taking his rightful place as space emperor.
Yeah, really whiny dude takes his place.
Yeah. How pivotal to the story is the what are they called? The weirdest
The weirding way.
the weirding way with the vocal power and
Yeah, I honestly don't remember it much. which I think is why Villeneuve kind of got rid of it from his focus in his movie, because it really is supposed to be about the characters overcoming the like obstacles in their way rather than like using space magic to like solve their problems.
Yeah, it did seem like Villeneuve was very crafty, having seen the old Dune as a reference point of like what to pick and choose in terms of the floating space brain fetuses and the and some other little things that Villeneuve was like, maybe you'll be ready in the next part of this movie for a really carefully crafted version of that thing. And removing things in just terms like the weirding way, just knowing that it doesn't sound good to us anymore. Because there are parts of these movies that that I kind of grown at, and this is just gonna be for both. Weirding way being one of them, but it's only one movie. Also Fremen clearly being free men is bothersome to me. It's
That's fair.
I just kind of went ugh.
Well, they're Fremen in the new one too.
I know. As I'm saying though, the term seems pretty clearly to be derived from the words
free man.
They are the free men. Also, I get it. Mining for resources in desert places. I got it. I got the metaphor. I was there for it. Thanks.
What? Wait, what? Just like climate change, or
no? Just like wars in the Middle East.
Oh yeah.
Over resources, over oil and deserts.
Yeah.
That certainly makes more
sense now.
More sense now. In '65, it wasn't that wasn't really imagery that people had.
No, but like still the idea of it still, and the also a terminology thing that I don't think Villeneuve used, but became present in the old one, which was not just it being spice, but it was a spice mélange.
The mélange, that's all through the book.
Right. Which is a very silly term.
Yeah, they're like synonyms. In the book they call it spice or they call it mélange. Yeah,
but a spice mélange.
Spice makes sense.
Spectaculaire.
Well, yeah. So I guess the question I wanted to ask you though, Sean, was how so. There's some pretty marked differences between the new one and the old one.
Yeah.
So which one is closer to the source material?
Honestly, in tone, kind of the Lynch one, I would say.
No, really?
Honestly,
that's disappointing.
It's a space opera. It is a majestic space opera. It's not a space opera because it is not a fight between good and evil. It is a fight between like human iconoclast movements, which neither have good nor evil. They just merely exist. But like in terms of its grandiosity and its scope, it is operatic in that. So I think Lynch's choice to really try and swing for the fences with his design and certainly with all the bad guy characters is more in line with who the bad guy characters are in the book. Like the first scene with the Baron Harkonnen in the book, he's literally like wringing his hands and maniacally laughing about his evil plan.
Right.
So, but I think Villeneuve's interpretation is much easier to watch, you know?
Well, yes. I can't say yes loud enough. Yeah, absolutely. It really felt like he was trying to really straddle this for the modern audience while not completely abandoning this movie's trippy as balls roots.
Yeah.
So you had all kinds of just like something that'll come up later in terms of like the production of this and the looks and everything of like just like random cutaways to visions and this and that and this and that. Like that's a hard thing to make a modern audience watch.
Really hard.
Yeah.
It was
hard to watch in the Lynch film too, mainly because I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah. Well, I think you see why Villeneuve chose to do it in two parts, because when you
100%
when you jam that into one movie, Chani is completely written out of the Lynch film because there's just not enough time to show that she's actually kind of a cool character with her own story arc that like is really pivotal by the time we get to the end of the book.
That's Zendaya in the new one, right?
Yeah, and Sean Young in the old one. Yeah.
Right.
I am kind of angry though at a movie that's a part 1, part 2. I don't love it.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. Totally agreed.
And it's a big problem. It's a movie that told a story much better, but is a half story.
Yeah.
And that is a negative for me. That's
but
really tough.
Would you sit through a 6-hour Dune movie?
Yeah, there's no way to do this movie in one part.
I kind of wish they just did it though.
Yeah.
No. What about Lord of the
little bit.
Rings? Lord of the Rings does that. Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure one of them just ends the exact same way with the group of them walking through
Yeah.
the forest or whatever.
The first
Like,
one, yeah.
You go into certain movies just knowing that you're in for the first installment, right?
Yeah. Do we know how many they want to do?
I hope not more than just the first book. I
It-
can't imagine it being a franchise.
I
Have
could
you met movie studios though?
Yeah, if the second one is successful, they'll
do
definitely
more.
greenlight. I could see them doing Dune Messiah as one film, and that concludes the Paul story. But then, if you want the full story of the Atreides family, you have to do Children of Dune, which is the third book, which might have to be a two-parter, honestly. So, like maybe 5 films, I would say.
But would that bring back Oscar Isaac?
No, maybe in some like weird flashbacky stuff, but no.
Well,
What about just his beard?
Hey, that lives in our hearts forever.
what I can see them doing probably is if the first book is successful, maybe going like the HBO route and doing like a Dune series.
Yeah, there's a mini series from the early 2000s with James McAvoy. That is
Any good?
poor production, but apparently does the story pretty well.
But see, TV in the 2000s is not what TV is now,
Yeah.
right? Like TV is just 10-hour movies at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, exactly.
So-
Yeah. Seriously.
It'd be sick.
Well, to speak more specifically on story, I had trouble in both films, if I'm being honest, understanding what the fuck was going on.
Yep.
There were a lot of times the story is delivered hilariously in the old Dune, in a lot of whispered voiceover.
Oh God, the whispering.
It's so hilarious and it's so unique, truly. Like, I have to give it props for at least being something I've never seen before since, because it's clearly such a bad idea.
Yeah, I thought it was the least creative thing I've ever seen.
Thinking? Is he the one we are choosing or not?
Well, you know what? If
That's
they-
half the movie.
That is
That's half the movie.
But if they had done that for one character and chosen one guy that we're following or one girl that we're following,
Or like anyone who had a truth sayer, which is maybe all who it was.
no, it was
everyone.
It was almost everybody, so I had no idea whose movie it was, who I was supposed to be following, and also it just seemed like a really lazy way to get the inner monologue off the page of the book and into the movie.
And it's literally just read off the book page. Those narratives are.
I know, and you can tell.
Yeah, they're just straight from the book.
Yeah, and it's just to like help you understand what the fuck people are.
Yeah.
And you're right. They do come from everyone, including like Patrick Stewart got one for sure.
Yeah. I was
I
happy.
might even like this, Duke.
The one like POV chapter that really sticks out, which they sort of do in the Lynch one and they don't do in the Villeneuve one, is Dr. Yui. And it's him freaking out when Princess Jessica, or when Lady Jessica is like touches him, and she notices his like lip quivering and like his eye moving, and so she has a little like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking. He's holding something back, and it goes to him, and he's freaking the fuck out because he's like, she's read me, she knows I'm betraying them, she's gonna kill me, I'm done for, I'm only doing this, and it's his inner monologue, and it's really cool, and you got a little bit of that.
Oh, so they forecast his betrayal of.
There's no, just like in the Villeneuve film, there's no doubt about it from like moment one that the betrayal is going to happen and they're fucked.
Oh, I didn't see it coming in the Villeneuve film.
No?
No, it didn't even cross my
I
mind.
thought it was telegraphed pretty heavily.
I mean,
Is that 'cause you knew,
honestly,
though?
Honestly, I didn't
Oh, wow.
fully know. No.
Okay, all right.
No, yeah. It's
Just because I knew.
Yeah, they want it to be like a fun, sneaky movie in the Villeneuve one.
Yeah.
And that's a tricky thing. Like, I would be curious about how fans feel about the Villeneuve, because it's like how much of it is being changed to cater to it being a movie. But that's how transitions to different mediums works, right?
Yep.
Like it can't just be a public reading of the book.
No.
It needs to be shifted in order to be successful as a movie, right?
Well,
So-
and Villeneuve's his version is so representative of where cinema is now.
Yes,
right.
for
Like
sure.
there's no way that you could do the Herbert version of this movie now. It just wouldn't work.
Nope.
You know, no.
Everyone would have to be on shrooms.
Even still,
Yeah.
even still, there has to be some. What Villeneuve does is he takes an acid trip and grounds it in some version of this reality.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what most movies are doing. That's what audiences are now kind of trained to expect and want, as opposed to in the 80s when it was kind of the Wild West and like
Sting's
the camp.
in this.
Exactly.
Where they want it to look like a weird music video or something.
Yeah. Or like it doesn't matter how, it's not about it being realistic. It's about it being a fun movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like the more sci-fi, the better.
I think the main criticism I've seen is that people questioning whether part 1 is more style over actual substance, which after seeing it, I kind of agree with that. It is a movie.
Little bit.
It's a movie just to really nicely give all the exposition we need, so that part 2 can be the action flick that we want it to be.
Yeah.
And so I think it does suffer a little bit from not having a like focus or like a drive to it.
It did feel a little. I mean, I was wrestling with this in the movie because I didn't know if it was disjointed or if there was just so much ground to cover.
So much
that I was having a hard time keeping up. Which I think that maybe I turned to you at one point, Jack, and you said you were like, I don't really know what's happening. I'm just trying to, or something like that.
You were like, wait. He said, don't save the what? And I was like, man, I'm just trying to keep up. You know what I mean? So it felt like the movie was moving at a jog, like a jogging pace.
Yeah.
And even still, like those unfamiliar needed it to be a walk.
Yes.
So it was at a jog to slow down for us.
Yep.
So it's a slower movie than it really wants to be. Mm-hmm. And still, I think most viewers are going to watch most of it and go, really, really cool. Don't fully get it.
Yeah.
But
I'm back for part 2. I'll be here for that.
Part 2, I hope will make it clearer.
Yeah, totally.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, because not only does it move super fast, but it's all politics.
Yes.
It's like if the first episode of Game of Thrones was on fast forward, right?
Yeah,
like
a full season in 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be like, okay.
Well, and like I think Game of Thrones happening allows them to go at the speed that they did. If there was no Game of Thrones, this would be 4 movies. And like
that people are like into like houses and shit.
they understand the basics of like intrigue and politics.
It's true. It's true. They have been like conditioned for it. It's a space. They're doing space Game of Thrones, which fucking that is what it is, and fucking sweet.
Yep. And the dragons are worms.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
Maybe hopefully they don't fucking biff it at the end again. Just drop that giant space ball.
I mean, there's no way. I can't wait for that movie to be on this. It's hard to biff it when you have an ending written already, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they go into God Emperor, then they biffed it. There's no way. God Emperor is just I won't give it away, is this like massive all-knowing God creature talking about the last 3,000 years of human development for like 1,000 pages. It's boring as all fuck. So if they try to turn that into a film, they've already jumped the shark. And
is that the last one in the series?
4th book.
Yeah, they won't get that far.
I hope they do it.
It would take balls, and only Villeneuve could do it, probably.
Yeah, I want it. So anyway, there's not much. It's hard to differentiate between these two movies because it's
is
the same,
it?
Well, I just mean like in terms because it's the same.
It is the
story.
Right, it's the story, right? Yeah.
So we're just talking generally about the story,
but
right? Which I think
Lynch is done at 4 times speed, right?
I appreciate them just doing a time jump and just being like,
been 2
and
years.
2 years passed. They're much more in love now.
Yeah.
And they've trained some people. So moving on.
Yep. Moving on. He has a sister now.
Yeah.
Who
ages fast.
Is 2
Immediately
but speaks with the voice of a full-grown woman. Yeah.
Like she developed very quickly with all sorts of powers.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, just tell me.
Lay it on me. All right.
The movie seemed to be. I don't know, maybe doing a decent job, if I'm really being honest, of trying to pair its visuals. The movie did have a lot of interesting visuals.
The Lynch one?
Yeah, the Lynch one.
Yeah.
Even though they're super dated.
Yeah.
Most of them, but some of them still look cool.
Sure.
And trying to let them speak for themselves, but also doing a ton of voiceover to also fill in just so many gaps.
The Princess Irulan face over space intro at the beginning, where she keeps coming back. Oh, I forgot to tell you, and she fades back in.
Like it's the beginning of some weird like Disney ride. Like, hi there, you're now entering the space of Dune.
Well, I
in this
forgot to
universe.
tell you.
I couldn't not think of the Neverending Story.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
When did that come out in reference to this?
Well, I want to say like 81 or 82.
Oh, so it
Maybe.
was
So
maybe stealing directly from that.
I
then.
think so,
Yeah.
maybe. Ooh, boy.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tricky because Villeneuve's Dune helped me understand Finch's Dune. I think if we watched Finch's Dune first, I would have finished like, what?
Yeah.
I also don't think that I would have been primed to watch the Villeneuve version in the same way that I was primed to watch the Lynch version.
Yeah.
Like if I sat through Lynch's
Yeah.
first, I would have had to tap out for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I was
that-
happy we did it the way
and
we
that
did.
would have been
worked.
it, right?
Yeah, I hear that. So it's tricky. I find, just generally speaking, I find the story to be like kind of neat and kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's tough because Lynch's movie misses the point of the book, and Villeneuve hasn't gotten around to showing how frightening Paul can be with his powers, and how like by the end he himself is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very interested to see what part 2 brings, because if this was just a setup, I mean, I think that there's probably some pretty interesting stuff in store for Villeneuve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Also, the name Paul for that character is dumb.
Okay.
and with
You
that,
just hate Paul. Yeah.
I think
do
it's
agree.
a super dumb space name.
yeah, I thought it was weird to have Jessica and Paul as our leads.
Yeah, that's seriously though.
And Duke Leto.
Duke Leto is
Yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duke Leto, Jessica, and Paul.
Yeah.
But Jessica's a Benny Gesserit, so
Right. Benny
Jehovah's,
Gesserit.
a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah.
he's a Jehovah's Witness. Yeah. Yeah. She knocks on your door.
So that was our super vague round on story. So that round is now over. So let's throw it. I'm gonna do a mime throwing in physically, but you can't watch it. But here it is. Throwing it. I threw like a wet steak.
It was a boomerang.
It was a boomerang. I gotta watch it then.
Yeah.
Wait, it's coming back. It's coming back. To an ad break. Welcome back, all ye Dune lovers. Dune. Anyway, so hey.
Oh, cool. Yeah, right into
This
the mic.
episode brought to you by Bubbly. Bubbly, send us some money.
Bubbly.
Bubbly.
Bubbly media.
Bubbly media. So let's jump right back into it with our second round, which is Producción Bueno.
Muy bueno.
Muy bueno, sí.
Production.
So
Production.
next question,
Yeah,
Right.
because there were some similarities between the way these characters were represented in the movies. I'll hold while Sean chokes on his beer.
Yep. I'm back.
So how close of a representation are the costumes, and I guess to a certain extent production design in both of these movies to the source material?
I'd say they're both pretty close.
So the way that these guys are dressed in these movies, that's kind of how they're described in the books.
Yeah, I'd say Lynch's is kind of sillier, but that is
yeah. I think we all would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's in keeping with like like he has a concerted vision for the film.
When they put on like the oven mitts, as you described them.
Yeah, when they're going, yeah,
Like put on the atomics.
Yeah.
and they
put on the oven mitt suits. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's much sillier, and you laugh at. But again, I think like when you think of what Herbert was dreaming of in the early '60s with the technology that was around him that he was basing this stuff on, Lynch's is probably a bit closer to what Herbert had in mind than Villeneuve's is.
Right.
But I think the one exception is the Fremen. I think Lynch completely missed what the Fremen were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And Villeneuve, in our era of trying to be post-colonial, like there's no way you can interpret the Fremen other than like an indigenous people that are being shat on.
Yeah, a
Right.
nomadic,
Yeah.
Indigenous people. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and also like much more distinct,
Yeah. Not just white guys with British accents also.
and like also with beards. Like they look the same. I'm like, why? It's a tricky thing where, like, gonna make that controversial argument of casting matters or whatever. When I was like, these people are all the same. Like, why? I don't care about this conflict. It's just like a bunch of the same people fighting over resources. Like, you're all idiots.
Yeah.
So, how it was presented in Villeneuve, I was able to just like feel that difference more. Yeah. Like
the Thopters, actually, in Villeneuve, the dragonfly ships.
I loved those so much.
Those are the book. And I don't know what, like, Lynch clearly didn't read parts of the book, because the ornithopters in the book are described almost identically to what we saw in Villeneuve.
As just like mechanical dragonflies?
Winged airships. You know?
Is it really descriptive in the books?
Yeah.
Is it like that one of those kind of books?
It's
Okay.
it's not Tolkien, but it's enough that you get like really clear indications of what he's going for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I thought that concept is so brilliant. And when I saw it, my jaw dropped, because I was like, how is this not the direction that we went in as humans when we were designing our flying objects?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously
It's
we went
not
more
far.
the bird mode. Well, except we have wings that don't flap.
But like a helicopter.
Yeah. I mean, there is, you know,
Yeah, I guess a helicopter is the
You know,
closest.
it's a dragonfly shape.
and you know
just-
that
It is a dragon. That's a good point.
Yeah.
famous clip of the like parasol plane that was just the like parasol that
Yeah.
went up and down and
Yeah.
kind of like hops around before falling on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Oh, I'll show it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just pull it up now and play it for everybody? I'm kidding.
no.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So yeah, I did find. I mean, it's tricky because I kind of like Finch's version.
Lynch?
Sorry, yeah, not Finch. Fincher.
Oh, the David Fincher version of Dune.
Ooh, that's dark and scary.
That would have been dark as fuck.
It's like all in like dark corners of
Yeah.
steamy rooms.
Yeah.
Everyone's smoking a cigarette for some reason.
So of Lynch's, sorry. Because of that kind of campiness, I do like the 80s space opera look. I think it's kind of fun. Like,
Yeah.
like we got to get a Flash Gordon on this podcast soon.
For sure.
Talking about classics of space opera. That's, I feel like, is right up there. And like, yeah, the look is is an interesting derivative of humanity at that time and the technology of that time. And Villeneuve's version of it is like the current, like, part of me was like, this is a bit too sleek and sexy. It's such a sexy film.
But
Like, the casting is sexy.
But
Yeah.
that's where we are. That is where filmmaking is right now. Like, you couldn't really. I don't.
Doesn't mean I can't criticize it. And
That's true. I guess so. But I mean, I guess, like I said earlier, I don't see a world where you could do the campy version of this movie today.
Not even camp. It's just like,
Okay, calm down, Jack.
no, Dan. No! No, that it was a bit of like, it felt like a designer movie. Like, do you know what I mean when I say that? Like, it just felt like an extended, like, perfume ad.
It definitely has that gloss on it.
You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every
And
bit of-
Zendaya.
and
Yeah.
Zendaya and fucking Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timmy. So, out there, you know what I mean? You know, so like, and like they're all beautiful, and whatever. It's not them that I have the issue with. Like, you can't blame them for being lovely humans.
Yep.
It's just that the gloss on it, and it's because like my animal brain loves it. It loves the symmetry and the clean lines, and it makes my brain go, yes, nom nom, nom nom. But I do kind of wish, I guess there were parts of it, like the design of the city
Yeah.
on Arrakis,
Real cool.
BA Baracus, was a bit like, it was like unappealing.
Yeah.
A place I didn't want to live. So I appreciate like little things like that. Like, in their living quarters were so different when they got there. But I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that, like,
I understand it is a very Hollywoodized film
yeah,
on something that inherently it feels like it should be dirty and gritty, because it's about these like outworlding spice mining people in a time where centuries before there was a big technology war and they destroyed all the computers. So like there's not even any like automated help for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what I was saying. I was
Yeah.
saying I wanted to see a few more like choice frayed edges or just like clunkiness or
Yeah. Not just a thopter that was run down.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just it didn't feel right a little bit with how sexy the movie was.
Sure. But it's a sexy fucking movie.
It is. I would argue. I don't know if I'd argue because no one can really oppose this opinion, but I think it's one of, if not the most beautiful movie I've seen in recent memory.
Absolutely.
It is remarkable.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
And-
Every shot was like,
Every
whoa.
shot.
I couldn't look away. I didn't go to the bathroom during the movie because I didn't want to miss anything.
Well, and I feel like that's kind of that's the trade-off when to it being too sexy is you establish this kind of visual tone of the film, and that's the world you're building. I mean, I thought that the world building in this movie, just the atmosphere they create, it was very sexy. It was but it was brilliantly executed.
Oh, yeah.
It was absolutely stunning, but also so specific and so detailed.
Yeah.
It was really remarkable.
And to be clear, like I'm cherry picking a gripe a bit here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Picking those nits.
Yeah.
I'm picking a bit of a nit.
Yeah.
But it did keep coming up for me while I was watching the movie.
Totally.
Because it was, as you say, so specific and so clear and so beautifully executed. And and it's not nowhere like in their they clearly made the sharp contrast to the Harkonnen.
Yeah. Yeah, who are
People-
filthy, disgusting slime monsters.
And like, what was that image that they quickly showed of people upside down being drained of their blood?
the Sardaukar, yeah.
who are
Who are the Imperial Army.
They're like the Spartans of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They serve the Emperor
Right.
directly.
and they're separate from the Harkonnen.
They're separate from the Harkonnen, but they were fighting together against the Atreides.
Okay, that was all
Yeah.
coming together. I
Yeah.
thought
But yeah, draining the bodies of the blood and then so they could come scoop the bowls of water and then draw with the blood on the Sardaukar troops. Not from the books. Super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horrifying.
Yeah, horrifying. There's the word. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, cool.
But like made a very strong impression. So like, but even that, like, I don't know. It was still this kind of designer runway version of a movie, and I guess that's the gripe, and I'm not going to go on anymore about it. It just felt like it was meant for Cannes.
Sure, and it premiered at Cannes.
For Cannes.
Yeah.
Cannes.
Calm.
I mean, I guess it's also what you
Jesus.
It's also what you sign up for when you bring on. Is it Denis or Denise?
Denis
Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve.
There's an N
Denis,
in there.
I'm sorry, Denis, if you're not listening.
Denis Villeneuve.
Imagine if Denis
That's right.
listens to all the podcasts that comment on his films.
He just has such a complex, just an inferiority complex.
He's like, they thought it was too much.
shit.
I don't know why.
But I mean, like, this just every movie that he does, because he did Arrival, and
Love
then
Arrival.
Sicario.
Sicario was before Arrival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sicario, that one always seems strange to me.
It was one of his first like Hollywood ones. Yeah.
Right, but it seems so out of line with the rest
It's
of the
still
movies
really
he's done.
beautifully shot, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then you go to Arrival, then Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and now this. Like, this is truly the culmination of like what he's been building to, and I wouldn't expect anything other than what we saw.
Yeah, it's perfection. It is
Yeah.
design perfection. He had a plan from day one, and he had the team he wanted to effectively do it. And that is the reason they needed a new Dune, because Lynch's misses the marks so harshly that like they brought Denis in because they were like, "You're going to do this film, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is, again, kind of back to a similar point where I thought Arrival was, to me, such a perfect movie because it seems to be where Villeneuve wants to go, which is like overly design. It's overly about aesthetic. And that's coming from me who loves aesthetic. I love that kind of stuff. But when it serves a story, not to say that it doesn't in Dune, but Arrival seemed like a perfect marriage, where like the story was also so focal in that movie. And then Blade Runner, we see the aesthetic taking a bit more priority. And then Dune, we see, I think it's mostly aesthetically driven.
Yes.
But I think the aesthetic is important in this story because it is almost a character. I mean, the story is
Dune is alive.
Yeah, it is the landscape in which all these humans now exist,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
So we need that world to be kind of rubbed in our face.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and again, to be clear, I fucking loved so much of what again, it satisfied so many things in my brain. I was just like, gimme. I did love that.
I was super worried about how they were going to do the shields, because in the book you can imagine a shield that stops it stops weapons that are moving really fast, but if they're moving just slow enough, they can go through the shield and hit flesh.
Okay, thank you for explaining it.
Yeah.
'Cause I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
the
you
only
that.
line you get is Gurney Halleck being like, yes, the slow blade finds the blood or whatever.
Oh, I thought that they were just called slow blades.
Yeah, okay.
But literally,
that makes sense. Literally, they're shields that prevent fast strikes from going in, but if you find the right speed, so it's all about coming in really fast and then slowing at the last minute to penetrate the shield. And that's really hard to show in film. Knowing what it was, I thought the like blue, orange kind of thing was really effective and really cool. Yep. And then we watched the Lynch film, and that is how you do not do the shield.
The cube battles.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the Lynch film for a second, because we need to talk about the fact that this movie, you expect a certain level of camp from something in the 80s, obviously. But this, we're talking post-Alien, post-Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like the standard
excuse.
the standard has been set for sci-fi aesthetic at this point, and then they come up with this. And I understand they have a lot of stuff to fit in, and the details are specific in the book, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, do we know what the budget was on the Lynch movie?
No idea.
I can find out.
Jack will
while
look
you're
it up.
while you're chatting.
Because unless it was astronomically low, I don't really understand how we ended up with.
It has to be super high. And it's a De Laurentiis film, so they were always making like prestige pictures around then. So like it's got to be, for the 80s, it's got to be at least like $70-80 million, I'd imagine.
And this was 84, right?
84.
And Alien was what, 79?
Yeah. And Star Wars was 77 to 83.
Yeah, I mean, like
no excuse.
No, but I will say,
45 million.
45 million.
Hey, 45 million in the 80s is still a shit ton of money.
Probably like,
I mean,
probably like 90 to 100 million now, right? Yeah.
I mean, some of the practical stuff was cool. I thought some of the wider landscape shots, like the establishing shots of where they of like castles or whatever,
the models.
I thought they were great.
Yeah, they're fine.
But that's kind of where it ended.
Yeah, the blue screen stuff.
The blue screen stuff was so rough. All his visions were
choppy,
and chaotic and disorienting and confusing.
Very.
Some of the crossovers, even between shots, were the burst through the image shots.
I had no idea what was going on there. I wasn't sure if he was dreaming or if it was like their version of a star swipe, or I don't know what the fuck that was.
So also I just found out that it was a bomb. So it had about a 40 million and it had a 31 million gross.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's a bad film.
It's bad. And I mean, you also mentioned, I think when we were watching it, you were like, "Oh, I can't wait to see how they try and do the fucking worms." And the worms were
fine.
The worms were fine. They clearly made those a priority. That they were actually decent.
Yep.
And like the models that were made and the puppets and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Real cool.
They reused a lot of shots, but like whatever. Like I get it. You're poor or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, still though, the worms in Villeneuve's are pretty dope. They do,
of course.
Close up, they do look like prickly buttholes.
They do.
But I mean, I'm okay.
That's
we
what
all
we're
know
into.
how much.
This is a butthole based podcast.
That's why.
Largely a butthole podcast.
I do. I mean, look, I'm definitely in favor of Villeneuve in just all the ways here. I think it's a bit tricky where, like, there's something. As much as it's amazing to look at with Villeneuve, it's kind of sad to me that it's all computer. Like I think everything in that movie was computer.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Dude, that's every movie now. That's
I know.
every movie.
I know.
It doesn't matter if it's a war zone or a side street.
And I kind of have respect for a Lynch version of it. Where?
That first effect, right, with the tank with the creature inside of it rolling in, that was dope. Until it rolls back and it's just wet underneath, and
But I kind of
it's
appreciate
leaking.
that was
right.
like a cool detail
Yeah.
where like the thing fucking leaked along as it went. Like this stuff like that, and having to use models and having to be inventive and creative. I have so much respect and admiration for that.
Yeah.
and I love that just as in a different artistic way.
Yeah.
Than just having this designer computer generated model that's being designed to make the synapses in my brain signal off and go yum yum yum.
I was interested, and it must have been a choice on Villeneuve's part, of how little space there was in my space movie today, where Lynch starts it with space. He starts it, and then I think the scene after the princess face disappears is Paul looking through the library data archive, which is just the ships, the map, the map of the planets rather, on digital space. Yeah. So there's a lot of space in the Lynch film, and very little space in the Villeneuve one.
How much space is
It's just to really finish first. It's not just a princess over space. It's a princess over space, and then she fades out, and she fades back in, going, "Oh wait, I think there's something else."
I forgot to tell you.
I forgot to tell you, which was fucking outstanding.
It was beautiful.
What a way to be introduced to something.
Princess Ireland. Yeah. What were you saying? How much space is in the books?
Yeah.
Not an awful lot. Which, at the end, there's the ships coming in from space, and then there's them arriving on the planet. Kinda.
I mean, I don't think the story is about space. I know it's a space opera, but it's not.
No, it is a power conflict story that happens to take place in 10-151 or whatever.
Exactly, which is kind of what I appreciated about the way that Villeneuve told the story, is the fact that he made it more of a character story.
Yeah.
He made it much more character driven. And obviously he had the benefit of two movies, so I had a much better, a clearer idea of what was happening. But the first one felt more like it was supposed to be like a sci-fi spectacle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What Star Wars? It's smart Star Wars. It's what I kind of wish J.J. Abrams had turned the Star Wars franchise towards a little bit.
Can you imagine Denis Villeneuve directing Star Wars?
No.
Why?
Because he wouldn't.
But it would be so sexy.
No, but that's where you imagine it, though, Sean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think we watched it today, though. I think we watched Denis Villeneuve's Star Wars.
Yeah, but also decidedly not Star Wars.
Yeah.
The parts of this movie where it's like, with the power of their voice, they control people to do stuff. I'm like, right. Uh-huh.
Which Lucas clearly read Dune and was like,
Yeah, exactly. Now I know that Lucas is just clearly stealing
It's
from...
about a boy on a desert planet. And
and when an old man says... when an old space wizard says, these aren't... they go, okay.
Okay.
I'm a genius. Give me lots of money. Good night.
Good night, everyone. I'm George Lucas.
Quick question. This is, I guess maybe it's a production question. In the book, the Baron.
Just read the book, Dan.
Yeah.
No, I don't read. In the book, the Baron, is that a flying suit or does he have powers?
It is. I think technically, I suppose it technically would be a flying or hovering suit, but it is because he no longer has the muscle power to lift his carcass, so he needs mechanical help to move him around.
Oh, I love that.
He's a fat fuck.
Fat
Yeah.
fuck.
It's only funny.
It is
in
really
the Lynch
funny.
movie.
Which it's even funny in the Villeneuve
is.
one, but it's always just soft focused while he's flying around the room.
Or in the Villeneuve one, it's just his feet.
Yeah. Just
coming by, where it's we don't want to show you this whole thing, but he's floating by.
Yeah.
And you don't know how it looks.
Oh boy.
It's definitely not Stellan Skarsgård in a fat suit.
In a fat suit, yeah.
Going,
being disgusting. So yes, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Good.
Quite thoroughly, actually.
Okay.
Thank you.
all right, then next frickin' round, huh? So our third round is acting. Muy bueno or no?
Honk, honk, honk.
Was there acting in the Finch one? Or Lynch one? The Fincher one?
I think Baron Harkonnen is the best actor in the movie.
Which is a thing I agree with, and I am sad to agree with.
Yep, because he's the only one that knows what movie he's in.
Maybe, what's the main guy's name again? Kevin?
Colin McLaughlin. He was bad.
He's
was
bad,
so
but
bad.
was that what he's supposed to be doing?
I don't know. Like all the like quote unquote normal protagonist characters in the Lynch one are all doing weird like British theater
Oh
acting.
my god, yes. Oh my god.
And Baron Harkonnen is the only one who's like, "Hello, I'm an evil space baron." Mwahaha. Can I get a mwahaha here?
Anyone? Yeah, I honestly, it's like Baron Harkin or whatever his name is, and then like number 2 is like weird creepy girl at the end saying weird
Aaliyah.
shit. Aaliyah.
yeah.
I was like, I buy this.
She's second best.
You
for
are
sure.
a creepy
The little girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she sold it to
Yeah.
me.
It's someone else's voice over top of her.
But you know what? But she was still there.
Yeah.
She still
had that,
said the word.
She had that weird little pose.
The pose with the knife and the like smile. Yeah.
I was not ready for it.
Nope.
It's thoroughly unsettled me.
But other than that, Patrick Stewart doesn't have enough to actually act.
No,
It's still. I know. I said
like,
this to you
doesn't
guys.
fit him.
No.
No. Well,
The casting sucked.
the casting sucked.
sucked.
It's. I think that Patrick Stewart is a hard person to cast in things generally. Though
Totally.
he doesn't fit most things. Like
Yep.
he's amazing as Professor X.
Yep.
And obviously Picard.
Yep.
But I've seen him in 2 other movies now, and both times he feels out of place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always needs to have the role of the like supreme command guy, right? He needs to have total authority for you to, because he just exudes authority as a human being.
Yeah.
Well,
when
he's
he's
so
Not like the
Shakespearean.
rugged fight guy.
Yeah, him as Gurney Halleck is weird. Him as Josh Brolin is weird.
Yeah.
I thought Josh Brolin was kind of a bad fit for that part
As
too.
did I.
though.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't get much of him in the film, right?
We
We got like
did.
3 scenes.
Yeah, but
He was a lot. We got a lot of him off the top.
Yeah.
but I agree. I didn't
Yeah.
Hundo P buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. It was for me. It was 2 reasons. One, they gave him a different like vernacular or like way of speaking than the rest of the people. He kind of had this weird, almost prophetic vocabulary, and
Right.
everybody
Yeah,
else
yeah.
kind of. I mean, it was all over the map. Some people were kind of in like modern day fucking Brooklyn.
Well, they
and some
dropped
people
the
were in
fact
space.
that he's I forget because he's got a like title, right? He's whatever he trains in. So not only is he is Gurney Halleck a fierce warrior, he's also a brilliant poet and musician.
Oh, is
So-
that the book he's reading before going to war? He has his little kind of
yeah,
notebook.
yeah, yeah,
And why
in Lynch
fucking
he's
Pat-
carrying a like
like a
sitar
big,
or something,
yeah,
right?
sitar type thing.
So
Okay.
and neither of the film really touch on it, but like he's supposed to also be in touch not only with warrior codes but also like artistic and poetic codes.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, which is Brolin is also a weird choice for that.
I also think that while Brolin has a very strong energy and presence, he's got a small body, which doesn't fit with like military expert.
Yeah.
I mean, it was better than the guy they had. It's better than Patrick Stewart.
1,000,000%.
And way better than the guy they had as Duncan.
Duncan, Idaho, with this like fancy pants prissy boy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
that was
casting
weird.
me as Duncan.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
versus Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had a fight, if we put the casts up against each other, who they were at the time of the movie making, Jason Momoa kills prissy boy Duncan, Idaho.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin kills Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave Bautista kills everybody.
Kills that fat ginger boy. Yeah.
I need more Dave Bautista in movies. I don't know how you guys feel about
You'll
him.
get more of him in the next one. I
Yeah,
bet.
he's clearly just there to like to be aware that he's gonna come up.
Yeah.
for sure. But I think that he is. I mean, I wouldn't even say he's underrated at this point. I think
He's so good in Blade Runner.
yeah, he is
so good.
He is
He's so good in it.
incredible and
Yeah.
understated
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. It's such a great way to start that film.
And I like Javier Bardem as well. I like this generally as an actor, but
yeah.
I
Oh, you
don't
didn't
know.
like him in this?
he had some funny moments.
He had some good moments, but I still think there could have been a better casting.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's going to be big in part 2.
I kind of wanted like a no name or like a less A-lister.
Like the guy who's in Rogue One. He's so good.
He's since become a
Diego Luna.
Sure.
He was bad in that film. He was terrible in that film. I was making a joke.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You thought he was terrible in Rogue One?
I thought he was god awful.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
But I hear you. I think that while everybody in this in the new one is phenomenal, sometimes you want to see some like really talented no-name actors so you're not so distracted by the pretty faces that you recognize.
By the everybody.
Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That it's like, it's Javier. Yeah. So that becomes tricky. I don't know. I would have, and I don't feel like Javier Bardem really embodies that desert tribe as much as I think other actors could.
Sure.
I minded him less than I did Zendaya.
You minded Zendaya?
Yeah, she didn't get to do anything in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, she's
just
correct, but
Yeah.
but she to me felt like the biggest stunt casting. To me she didn't fit the
She was
the
like
desert
top
person.
billing for the movie, and
I know.
something. Okay, but she
But that's
didn't
what I
feel like
mean.
I just didn't think there was enough to like judge anything of her performance on, and I thought what she did have, she did the thing. So I was like, okay, thank you.
I've never really seen her do anything before. So
Have you seen her in Spider-Man?
Well, I've only seen the first Spider-Man, and she doesn't do anything in that movie either.
Yeah.
Have you seen Euphoria?
No.
Oh yeah, she's really good in that.
And I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
Euphoria,
Greatest
but-
Showman. Apparently, she does a bunch of
She's in The Greatest Showman?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Showman?
The Greatest Showman.
Showman.
Is that not how it's pronounced? Showman?
Yeah.
You're a showman.
Yeah.
It
I
can be
do.
either
I do.
You're a
like
Kwisatz
Showman.
Haderach.
Yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson needs to stop whispering all her lines because I would like to hear them.
Yeah.
Who is
Rebecca
she?
Ferguson is
Lady
his mom
Jessica. Yeah.
Which one?
The mom in the new one.
in Villeneuve.
Villeneuve's.
Oh, yeah.
So every line
Yeah.
was whispered, and
Well, she's under stress. Okay. Everything.
incredible amount. She's pregnant alone in the desert with her fanatical son. Yeah. Yeah, you would be too. After her husband's been murdered.
Not husband.
Not husband. What is the
Baby daddy.
Who is the owner of a concubine?
No,
What is the name for that?
master?
I guess a master. I didn't realize until
Well, yeah.
the Lynch version that she was just his concubine.
Yeah, I think they're kind of going away from that for like reasons in the new one. Like
He said I should have married you.
He did, yeah.
That still came up, that line.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, like the books have a lot of latent misogyny just because the 60s,
Right.
and I think Villeneuve is doing a fairly decent job so far of like massaging that stuff to the outer rim,
Yeah.
being like, let's put
That's
that
good.
there. Yeah,
Can I ask what people thought of Momoa?
I loved him.
Yeah.
I'm not usually a fan of Momoa, and I was a little worried when he first got on screen because he felt a little Aquamanish. But he won me over.
Aquamanish.
And Aquamanish. And I honestly think that part of it had to do with him losing the beard.
I do dig the no beard.
I dig the no beard, and it helped me
I
see him in a
don't
new
know.
light.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I mean, the last thing I saw him in, and I haven't seen him in much. The last thing I saw him in was Aquaman, which I thought was a fucking abortion of a film. And that was it, except for Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which I think he's actually quite phenomenal in.
Yeah, I think
He's very
he's
good.
he's great as
Yeah,
Khal Drogo.
yeah, but yeah, I was worried when we first saw him because he seemed to be doing his like cool guy Jason
I
Momoa
again don't
thing.
think we had enough Duncan Idaho to really get a picture of it.
In this, we saw enough of him, I think.
Yeah.
I'm saying that
He was always getting out of a ship and saying something to like engineer, and the engineer was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Good on you."
He just felt like like a surfer bro.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, but
What's up, buddy?
I agree.
Yeah. Hey.
But as the film went on and we started to see him kind of in the once he'd become more one with the Fremen,
Yeah.
I felt like we saw a bit more character there.
At that point, okay, at that scene really sold me on his Duncan Idaho. I enjoyed it.
I again, this I'm gonna be just a touch gripey, just like the tiniest touch because
When did you get so gripey?
Such a little whiny bitch.
Such a little whiny fucking bitch.
it's in my nature.
yeah.
No, but for the most part, I totally agree with you. To be clear, I think in my brain, I love casting Jason Momoa. He's such a great person to cast as stuff. You know, where I go.
And apparently, a super nice guy in real life too.
I've heard contrary things. I've actually,
really?
I've heard people who worked with him on that like Sight series on Apple or whatever, who said that he was actually kind of shitty to work with.
Oh
and
no,
super
really?
egotistical and like, yeah.
It's hard to determine based on like third-hand stories from set, right?
That's the thing. Yeah. So I'm colored by that a little bit, but I just want to say, like, I love casting him even mentally. I'm like, yeah, what a fun person to cast as that kind of character. It's such a strong visual. Again, for like a Villeneuve movie where the visual is what tells the story more than anything else, more than a performance, more than the lines. It's the visual. I go, great, good job. You cast the right person.
Yeah.
I thought his performance was fine. I mean, yeah, I don't know. This was a tricky movie where I think people's performances were a bit, they were in the shadow of the movie, of the visuals, which is tricky. Like,
totally.
It wasn't about performances.
Yeah.
No one biffed it with performances.
Everyone did the thing they needed to do in the scene.
Yeah, but I don't think people had the room to biff it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there was space for anyone to do something totally outlandish. It was mostly just say your line pretty seriously to the person in front of you. And you'll be fine.
Yep. I think Skarsgård, the Baron again. There is the most to glean from the Baron from the books because he is such a like hand-wringing monster.
Yeah.
So Skarsgård is already a frightening human being on his own.
Yeah.
And to put him in that suit is like, and just have him eating. So there's something about someone who's always eating, and it puts you off. And
I thought you were gonna say that turns you on.
That too depends what they're eating. Yeah.
Which Skarsgård is it? You know,
Stellan.
No, but I'm saying, but like depending on which Skarsgård is eating.
Oh yeah. If Peter's eating or Bill.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But then next one, no.
I'm more curious about what food turns you on when you watch it being eaten.
We'll have to do an experiment and record it for a bonus episode.
Can you make a chart of each
most erotic food
for
and Skarsgård?
For each Skarsgård? like a really good scatter plot?
Yeah. So the lowest is Stellan with gristly meat product.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the lowest. That's the lowest.
Okay, so we know what that is. Now we have to find the highest one and then fill it in. Okay,
it's
great.
Probably like Bill with chocolate covered strawberries or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you sign up to our fucking Patreon, or anyway. So, and then is there acting in Lynch's? It's so old timey.
Poor Sean Young.
It's even before the 80s level of acting.
Yeah.
That old theatery Britishy bullshit.
It feels like a BBC made for TV movie.
Yeah.
With
like an old
cast
episode of Doctor Who.
With the cast of the National Theatre Live, or the National Theatre coming to do Dune, the new play by, whoever. by fucking British Magoo.
Yeah. Sir British Magoo over here.
Yeah. Schaefer. Yeah.
As people clearly just like get a script as these like classically so-called classically trained actors, and they don't know what the fuck they're saying, and they just deliver it with general gravitas or something, like general performance energy.
And it's usually like single fixed camera shots. And
like a green room, because
knocked back and forth. And so everyone knows they have the frame to act in, so they always have to like enter frame and then crouch to like get next to the person who they're with. It's not great.
What about the other stunt casting of Sting?
Yeah, that was inspired.
I mean,
why?
Fine. He was honestly more palatable than the old British people in that movie.
For sure. I mean, all he had to do was just kind of be attractive.
Yeah.
Like that was the definition of stunt casting.
Wear that thong is all he had to do.
What was happening in that scene? Because we had Baron floating around the smoke, and was he just waiting for him to get out of the shower? What was happening there?
Yeah. I don't know why he was in the other room, because he told Raban, he was like, "You will take over Arrakis," and then he leaves, and then Sting walks out in the thong. And he's like, and then the rest will be yours. And, and Sting just looks at him like, yeah.
It was very weird.
Honestly, it was a high
Cocaine.
point in the movie for me. Just seeing that svelte little body of his.
Yo, Sting was fucking sexy back in the day.
Yeah, he was doing
yeah.
yoga way before it was
Cool.
cool and all
Yeah.
that. And doing the multi-hour tantric sex sessions and whatever.
Playing.
Was that a
playing
real
8
thing?
shows a week?
Yeah, that was like a famous story
Sting fucks.
that
For 8 hours?
yeah he
Oh.
would apparently do like these like tantric like
Who
8
wants to
hour-
fuck for 8 hours?
Sting.
Sting
do.
and people who want to fuck Sting.
People want to get stung.
Sting, if you're listening, come sting each and every one of us.
But not for 8 hours.
I don't know. I think the way Sting does it.
I mean, unless it's like real slow and gentle.
You got to think about it like a day at the spa. Like
Yeah.
you got to.
How?
Well, I think it's a lot of like
There are phases.
It's a lot of tantric massage, and it's a lot of just like going about your day.
a lot of soaking.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
soaking.
That is the most foul term when it comes to sex ever. Just soaking.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh goodness.
Fun casting. There was a
Yeah.
Dune they were going to make in the 70s. There's a documentary about it called Jodorowsky's Dune. They wanted to cast Salvador Dali as Emperor Padishah
Fuck,
the
yes.
Fourth. Salvador Dali wanted $100,000 an hour to do it, and they had a plan, and they were only going to use him for 1 hour, and then they were going to do the rest of what he needed to do with puppets and like just dummies in the costume. And I guess the film never ended up being made, but I guess Dali got fired because he said some things supporting Francisco Franco, the dictator of Spain, and
no.
people on set were like,
$100,000 an hour.
Yeah.
That's not the biggest, just like fuck the film industry thing I've ever heard.
And the fact that they're also like, well, I mean, we'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, we'll do it with puppets.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Like the crazy old film industry. And now they'd be like, well, we'll just CGI you for the rest of the scenes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
100%.
just capture your
Totally.
image.
Yeah, we'll shoot you for a day, and then everything else will be the back of your head or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Kevin McCarthy. I didn't like
McLaughlin?
McLaughlin. Who's
Kevin!
Who's Kevin McCarthy?
I have no idea.
I don't think that's a person. I mean, I'm sure that person exists
I
somewhere.
think it's like someone in the Senate. The U.S. Senate is. This is Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
What else is there to talk
What
about?
about Chamberlain? What's his name?
Timothée Chalamet?
Timothée Chamberlain.
Timmy. He was fine.
Yeah.
I was
He's a pretty boy.
underwhelmed. He's gorgeous. But that's kind of like, I don't know, man. I was really won over by him at the beginning, and then through the movie, he slowly lost me.
I think it's good casting for what the arc of Paul should be. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have a good journey from the like straight up like kind of naive boy that we see at the beginning of the film to at the end of part 2 when he's going to be like a god.
Wait, oh my god, are we gonna get a scene where Timothée and Zendaya fuck?
Probably.
Oh shit.
Nice. Take my
Nice.
ticket money.
Yeah.
I want to see those two
At least twice.
model-y people do it.
They're legal age, right? They're not minors. Okay. Nice.
A good soaking scene, right, Dan?
It's the only way to preserve water in the desert.
Yeah. Oh, yay! I thought he was fine. I appreciated the fact that people in this movie put a little bit of effort into the combat.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfectly filmed. Like
Nope.
it wasn't trying to be other current action films, but like they had shots here and there that I was like, oh, that was a little sequence, really quick. But that was whole body, probably a stunt double for a second in that shot of stuff and like the real knife fighting stuff. Real. It was,
They weren't fencing with knives like in the Lynch one.
Well, the Lynch wasn't fully that bad. The Lynch had
Just
some
the Gurney and Paul one at the beginning.
With the shields?
Yeah, with
my
the shields.
I mean, fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even. That's not even anything. That's not a scene. That's not.
But the Sting one was
Sting
at the
one
end.
was-
It was fine.
There was like little stuff going on. Like they had someone came in and choreographed that. That's
Yeah.
where I see the influence of like I've been this person in shows. I've seen it where a director is just like throwing shit at walls and figuring stuff out, and someone has been hired to come in and create something for it. And it's usually like a choreographer or a fight director or something like that, where their job is to make like a solid product. So suddenly in the movie you have this like really clear story and like really clear delivered thing. Also, what the fuck? So Sting's character had a special fang in his outfit,
Rib cage
for that specific moment in that kind of battle.
Yeah, sure did.
This is like Schumacher Batman levels of uniform intricacies.
No nipples. No nipples on his bodysuit.
But there are ice skates in the feet and a fucking poison rib in the ribs.
Well, what I thought was hilarious was they reveal that blade, and then Paul falls directly on him.
On top of it.
Yeah.
After thinking, I will be like a reed in the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just falls on top of him and kills him.
Yeah.
The last 15, 20 minutes of that movie are a fever dream.
Yeah. Yeah, where they just pressed gas on the whole plot.
I guess what we're saying is do drugs, kids.
Please do drugs before watching these films. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. That's the official stance of the podcast. Buttholes mainly, and after that,
put the drugs in your buttholes.
Put drugs.
It does get to you faster.
It does get to you faster. That is the official stance of this podcast.
Yeah, and on that note, let's hear from our next sponsors.
Butthole drugs. Hi.
Yeah, let's
Fine,
use that. That's pretty funny. Sean reacting to the dog in the room. Yeah. Hi. Hi. Welcome back. So let's jump in right away to our mini round, our fourth round, which is rewatchability. Good?
Hopped on him a little bit.
Sorry.
He wasn't expecting my grammatically incorrect round announcing. So
Not bad.
it's all good. Okay. So, I mean, I'm immediately feeling biased because the Villeneuve has left me wanting more. You know what I mean? That's not the same as wanting to rewatch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a tough week because one is, for me, a clearly more enjoyable film, but like the Lynch, it's not Fincher, right? It's Lynch. It's Lynch. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that I kind of want to experience again.
Like a little bit. Like there's stuff I missed. I wasn't able to get all of it.
Oh, there's a ton of shit that I missed.
Yeah.
If it was an hour 40, I would have a much easier time being like, oh, I'd rewatch the Lynch Dune.
And the same amount of content crammed
into 100 minutes.
More smash wipes.
But would you do the Lynch Dune in two parts? Like watch an hour of it and then the other hour of it?
I think if it was in two parts, it would be such a better film.
No, I'm not saying like if he did it in two parts. I'm saying would you just watch this movie for an hour and then watch the other hour and a half the next day or something?
No.
Okay.
Is the Villeneuve half a book story a better watch than the Finch whole book story?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought.
I mean, it is a better watch that's undeniable.
Yeah, 'cause, like it's the Lynch
But it's
one
more fun.
Is the Lynch one is fun to watch for about an hour, and then it descends into chaos and anarchy.
Yeah.
And there's just there's nothing to hold on to because they're side swiping from one scene to the next every 5 seconds to jam this thing to completion.
And the last 20 minutes are fucking bananas.
Our fever dream.
Bananas.
Yeah. And it's really dark and like
You feel like you're just barely with it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, anyway, bye. Like, fucking, we are leaving now.
Oh, Paul's it ends with he uses the voice weapon without needing the weapon. And they're like, he doesn't need it anymore. Paul. And that's the culmination of his character. Bye.
And Maiden Laheim, or whatever you said her name was, she responds by just being like,
Yeah, she hates it.
She hates it.
And then it rains.
And then it rains. I can't remember if it does in the book. I feel
Oh, that would be fucked if it didn't.
like it's gotta, right?
I feel. Well, I didn't. I mean, they make it seem in the movie like they don't need rain because they have ample supply of water.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more of like a god thing.
Still suits are cool, eh? The idea of the still suits, pretty fun.
They're like drinking your piss.
Yeah, the water recycling suits. Yeah, drinking your piss and shit, which they don't mention in the Villeneuve one. But in the Lynch one,
you drink your shit.
He's like
feces and urine are deposited in these pockets.
Are filtered in your are stored in your thighs.
Yeah,
But they said that in the Lynch one.
Yeah, girl.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that
It turns
part.
your feces and pee into drinking water.
Or at least like just holds them there.
You think it like neutralizes the flavor?
It would have to.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't think so because in the Villeneuve one, when they're in the tent, she drinks it and she's like, and he's like, yeah, sweat and tears.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, maybe it's not. They don't recycle the shit though. Maybe that's. How do you derive or how do you get?
You still take the water out of the shit.
Yeah,
right?
it's still.
I don't know. Maybe it's just. I'm
It's
hoping
got
it's just like a
moisture in
thigh
it.
diaper.
Yep.
That's how it
You only lose
slides
a
out.
thimble worth of water a day. In the still suit. Like, I think it
There is something hilarious about an entire tribe of people just drinking their own shit all day.
Yeah.
Not drinking the shit, the water.
The water from
extracted.
the
Drinking
Shit.
their shit water.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like mixed in with their sweat water and their pee water and like a bit of semen
So does
water.
that make you want to watch?
If they're just like slowly leaking jizz in their suit all day for some reason.
Like someone like that culture for sure doesn't just like come on a rock and let it go. They are saving it.
Yeah, they need that moisture.
Ooh, I guess that's a good point.
a
Eh?
hundo P. If they're bringing bodies back to extract moisture somehow.
Well, it's probably like sex only happens for procreation.
Oh sure, yeah,
And
just like every
hydration.
other fucking culture.
I don't know. The Fremen have mind powers, you know?
But they're free men.
They're free men with their seamen.
If you try roaming, okay, that's it.
Couldn't leave that. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm happy with that.
If they were actually just called the semen. Are you a semen?
We didn't actually like
Talk about
rewatch
that.
it.
Doesn't
We did
matter.
for a bit.
Wait, oh, it was done.
Enough.
Is she on the counter?
No.
Barf.
That would be hilarious.
All right, so let's do some scoring. I feel like this is gonna take a long time. So, what's the first one again?
Story.
Story. Villeneuve,
Villeneuve.
the new one.
Dune.
Yeah, Dune. I point for Dune.
Point for Dune. Yes. Yeah. All right. Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Word.
Production. Dune.
Lynch.
Oh, Villeneuve.
David Fincher.
David Fincher.
It's so sad.
Again, I can't think of another. Yes. The fucking I can't even think of anything. Yes, Dune.
New or old?
Tarantino.
Okay.
Can you imagine Tarantino's Dune?
No, there's a lot of N-words.
The only other Jesus, the only other person I can imagine maybe doing Dune some justice would be Michael Bay.
No.
Michael Bay's Dune.
Imagine Michael Bay's Dune.
There'd be so many explosions.
Yeah, but that's the
I
action
can't wait
movie.
to see Ambulance.
Oh, that looks fucking so stupid.
yeah, the
Oh my
trailer.
god.
No,
Is it
it's
supposed to be
it's,
LA ambulance or just ambulance?
I think it's Ambulance.
Ambulance.
He's ambulance.
It's this French foreign language film. Ambulance by Michael Bay.
Ambulance. No,
Villeneuve?
it's Villeneuve.
And you're Lynch?
No.
Okay, Villeneuve.
For production, I'm Lynch.
Yeah, that's
don't know.
where you give it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Acting, Villeneuve.
Acting, 12 Years a Slave. That's where I give my point on this week's episode. Villeneuve, yeah, it had acting in it.
Yeah.
And there was like room for the acting to exist,
Oh, fuck.
even though it was like dwarfed by production.
Yeah, this is upon watching these movies, it's kind of an unfair comparison, but let's move on.
But that that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, this is not looking
We're watchability.
good.
Huh? We said it's kind of Villeneuve.
I am going to see Dune again in theaters. Probably.
Really?
Probably.
I will.
I would maybe join you actually.
I want to go real baked.
Oh, I couldn't do that. It's too long of a movie to go baked.
Yeah.
2.5 hours? It's so long.
Yeah.
I will probably rewatch it again before seeing the part 2.
Right.
You know.
And would you watch The Lynch again?
No.
No. Okay.
I would also watch the Lynch again.
Someday I will watch The Lynch one again, but that day is not this day.
I want to watch like a funny YouTube compilation where someone has re-edited it just to be whatever the fuck they want it to be. With new sound effects. That's what I want.
I would watch it to force Marisa through it.
Oh, that sounds funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So she can predict. Would you think she could predict what happens at all in either of the dunes?
He's a space god.
Yeah.
He's clearly got to drink the water.
Yeah.
He's got to drink the water to become a space god.
No, that is one
He's
which
the
would
Mohadib.
be a great movie for her to watch because
Yeah.
I love when she's stumped and she keeps trying to guess, but when she's wrong, I can just like needle at her for an hour and a half. It's a lot of fun.
Well,
She's
so
like,
far,
she's gonna be like, well, Mohadib is clearly a killing word.
yeah.
You're not gonna guess
That
that.
was a weird part of that. So far, it is a complete sweep.
Yeah, which is what I kind of figured it would be, which is why
But there's the wild card.
There's a wild card, which, as we know, is worth 3 points.
Yeah.
So
It's just how much.
it still doesn't matter.
Not worth that. Yeah.
It is today, even though it doesn't matter. So this week's in the theme of desert movies, this week's wild card round is which movie would do you think would pair better with some pita bread? That's
Which movie goes better
What?
with pita bread?
yeah, like as like a dip.
Villeneuve's. Villeneuve's has a nice.
Dan's eyes are shut the hardest I've ever seen them before.
Is it really hard?
They, like-
hard to, like,
Can I
come to grips with?
pass on that?
No, you can't.
No,
That's
no.
Which movie goes better with pita
yeah.
bread?
Like which better is a better dip? for
Villeneuve's
pita
is a nice hummus with like not too much garlic, but the garlic is there. The like all the flavors are
But it's
balanced
low
out.
fat.
And it's low fat, but like you can have more of it. You can therefore eat a lot more of it.
Yeah, but the Lynch
The Lynch one has like it's like a red.
there's like whole pieces of there's whole pomegranate seeds in it.
no,
And there's like and there's
that's unappetizing.
no, it depends on what you want.
Pomegranate seeds?
Sure.
Why?
Yeah,
In your
what-
hummus?
Have you
What do
met
you-
the Middle East?
In your hummus?
Yeah.
No,
sure.
really, for real?
Sure.
I'd put some like
Not in a hummus, but in like a dip, in like a tasty
I think
spicy pomegranate.
Lynch's is also a hummus, but it's a roasted red pepper hummus with too much cayenne, like so much that you're sneezing a lot.
It's like a really sneezy
Real
hummus.
sneezy hot mess of a hummus plate.
Dan, where are you sitting right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this entire conversation.
How much hummus are you sneezing out of your nose?
I mean, I usually just eat hummus through my nose, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
With pita.
I don't even with pita.
I mean, you can lots of things go in pita.
Yeah,
you
you
can
have to-
tzatziki.
you can do you can do like a pita bread pizza.
Yeah, you could do a shawarma in the pita.
Yeah.
Ooh, you could do a shawarma. In
I
the
mean,
pita.
Lynch definitely has more in common with a shawarma, but it's all white things
Like
in
like
Lynch's,
like
right?
Finch has a bit more of like a
So it's
street
just like
vendor
tzatziki
vibe.
and
That's the
garlic.
thing,
little
like,
bit.
because the best
but
best
it's cucumber and it's tomato.
No, but
and
the
it's-
best spread you're ever gonna get is gonna be not from the high dining restaurant.
Yeah.
It's gonna be from the street vendor in like a off an alleyway in Istanbul or whatever.
Right.
Which is often like the best food, though. Let's
That's
be
the
real.
thing. So
Yeah.
that's what Finch's is to me.
But it's all white people.
Yeah,
So
but
all the ingredients have to be white.
Yeah, it all
Whoa.
has to be like cucumber, tomato, like I was saying, like a little bit of onion, raw onion though. It's a little weird.
a bit of onion never hurts. I think the answer is clearly Lynch. This is clearly a win for
Disagree.
Lynch. It's got the
Daniel,
it's
you're
got
the
the
deciding
street
vote.
festival vibe. It's,
Am I the deciding
You're the
vote?
deciding
I don't
vote.
want to vote at all. I'm the
Come down
deciding
to
vote.
You're the deciding vote. It's, remember, it's worth
I
7 points.
I vote for Tarantino's version of Dune.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Fuck. I don't know, man. Fucking Lynch. Let's go Lynch.
Yeah, for 7 points for the win.
Nope.
Food truck pita bread Lynch. That's what I'm going with.
With 13 of 15 votes.
So that means the with whatever Sean said, the Citizen Kane of the week very clearly is
What's in the box?
fucking the classic new one, the
New classic.
the new classic, Villeneuve's Dune. Frappez les mains.
Frappez les mains, s'il
Les
vous
mains.
plaît.
Frappez les mains.
Frappe.
Frappez.
So congratulations to Dune on being the winner. Sorry to Dune for that hard loss.
What a great fucking movie, though, guys?
That was
Dune?
wild.
It was Dune, not Dune.
Not
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Dune.
No, Dune.
Yeah. Dune, no, but Dune. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Dune. Dune sucked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but Dune was dope.
You should read the book.
No.
Just listen to the audiobook.
Yeah.
Nah, it's still too
Doing
long.
either of those
It's
things.
fucking crazy. Do they have a Dune podcast that I can listen to?
Oh, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that would be even worse.
It's
Just a
probably
bunch of
called
fucking-
Dunecast.
A bunch of fucking
Yeah.
dorks sitting around a table talking about Dune.
Yeah, what a horrible podcast that would be.
What are you saying, Sean? So, speaking of dorky shit, we have some super fun movies pitched for next week.
Losers.
It's we after hours of painstaking research, we decided on board game movies, which now is very funny to me. So next week, next episode. Be sure, unless you watch these in succession every week after they're released. I don't know. But next episode is going to be Clue, the classic Clue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow.
Huh.
Versus
Yeah.
the other equally classic,
Yeah, what is
starring Rihanna, Battleship.
Wow.
Is it starring Rihanna?
I mean,
And Liam
Featuring-
Neeson.
And Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson is in it?
Liam motherfucking
Oh, I
Neeson.
And
didn't
John Carter.
And,
Oh, that guy?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
his name?
I don't know his name.
Oh,
one knows
fuck.
that
Yeah.
guy.
Gambit. His name is Gambit.
Gambit. His name is Gambit. Yeah, fuck. I had his name and it's gone.
Gambit, John
and a
Carter.
bunch of U.S. Navy veterans.
Yeah.
For real, though, actually?
For real.
Oh, is that how they get access to all the gear and shit?
Well, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, fuck you, America.
So be sure to tune in if you like those things. Be sure to like and subscribe or whatever, and follow and give us a review if you think
Yeah.
they're decent. We would love you for that. And check us out on the Twitters, at Citizen Kane VS or something like that, right?
Yep.
And we're on the Instas at Citizen Kane VS Podcast, and
We're like kind of there.
we're kind of there. Look, there's gonna be some hot photos of Dan coming up at some point.
Ooh, they
maybe
are
this month.
hot, too. They are
pretty
they are
hot.
steamy.
Yeah, there's him holding up like CDs in front of his nips.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send up some follow-ups, getting some ass shots out,
Buttholes.
like holding a DVD disc with your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Should I hold a DVD over my butthole? Probably, right?
I mean, it would probably just the hole in the middle would reveal your butthole only.
Can we CG one of the Dune worms coming out of his butthole?
Oh yeah, we have the
100%
money for that.
CG. It's just a Photoshop.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
problem.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Just like a Photoshop of that.
I actually have worms in my butthole now. So.
Hey! Where'd you get yours?
All right. Well, on
that.
that note, let's send it out with some Dune themed music. So here we go. Whoa!